My name is Liz Williams. I'm a program officer with Career Academies. I am joined today by my fantastic team who will be doing all the behind the scenes work, Jasmine, Isabella, and Serene. I just wanted to take a moment to ground in the purpose of Career Academies and our community of practice for today. So for those of you who don't know, Career Academies is a United Way innovation initiative that prepares high school students for zero college debt and high wage, high demand careers through real world experiences and training. The Career Academies team partners with school districts across the state of Minnesota to provide specialized funding, technical assistance, and coaching, and opportunities for learning and connection, like this community of practice today, where we're really focused on building sustainable career pathways across education and employment systems. And together with our partners, we work to ensure that students have equitable access to college credits, rigorous and relevant curriculum, and meaningful and supportive work experience. So today's community of practice is really focused on that last core pillar of Career Academies that I just mentioned, which is meaningful and supportive work experiences. And today you'll get the chance to hear from experts in the field who are creating seamless transitions for young people into the world of work so that students can really focus on their futures. Centering youth voice and sharing power is also a core component of how we do our work in Career Academies. And today we'll learn from former and current career pathways students who will share their expertise and reflections on how to support young people in quality work experiences and the role that career pathways have played in their future plans. So I hope that today, some of what you're going to hear will spark your curiosity and maybe inform how you're approaching the work you do with young folks, and that you leave feeling inspired to bring young people closer to your design processes and planning as we all work together across our various sectors to create high quality educational and work experiences alongside the amazing future leaders in our community. So to kick off today, I'm very excited to introduce our February Changemaker Spotlight, who is Torrey, who is the Director of Academic Excellence at Reve Academy, who's going to share more about how Reve is empowering youth to dream with direction by providing pathways to digital careers. Torrey is a lifelong advocate for youth, and prior to her role as the Director of Academic Excellence at Reve Academy, Torrey served at North and Edison High Schools in the Minneapolis Public Schools for nearly 20 years as a classroom teacher, a teacher mentor, and a program coordinator. Torrey draws inspiration from the young people she works with and is a champion for integrating youth voice in program design. Torrey, thank you so much for being here today. I'm going to pass off to you.
Well, thank you, Liz, and thank you to everybody else. It's really nice to be here. We're excited to be the Changemaker Spotlight this month, and we're excited to share a little bit more about Reve Academy programs with you. We'll start off by just doing a little background about us so you can learn about Reve Academy and our mission and vision and how we got started. We have Reve Academy, we have over 10 years of experience in serving students. We were founded in 2010 as a response to the growing need for young, diverse talent, especially in the digital innovation industry. Our founders, Kristen Pardue and Brad Bonbank, are executives at several major local corporations, and they also had a passion for volunteering with Northside Minneapolis youth. So Reve Academy was founded on the north side of Minneapolis, and they founded Reve Academy to build up young talent, especially to work to close gaps in digital and career technical field access. And their goal was to ensure that leadership in the digital career fields reflects the demographics of the community. And we are fortunate that we have been around for over 10 years now, and we have served over 10,000 youth. And we continue to empower youth to dream with direction, as our mission statement says. We have an interesting model at Reve Academy, and we, from a long time ago, from our foundation, we understand that learning does not happen in a linear manner. So we created a pipeline for deeper learning, which combines curriculum and career experiences. So we partner with various school districts across the metro area to offer curriculum that's focused on business innovation and entrepreneurship in schools. And that can look a variety of different ways. We have classes, we have after school programming, we have some options that are totally virtual and online as well. And we also offer, paired with that curriculum experience, we offer paid internships for students and a new experience that's kind of like a mini internship. We call it a Reve in Residence. And I'll talk a little bit more about that later in the presentation. But it's an individualized entrepreneurship development program for students. So regardless of how we offer these things in our different learning environments, Reve Academy is focused on 3 key areas: one, building valuable workforce skills for students; another, providing them with opportunities to apply those newly developed skills; and also exposing them to a variety of career and learning pathways. We, in talking with Serene and Liz and preparing for this presentation, we were having an interesting talk about just the current research and industry trends, and we wanted to share a little bit about background of how we've kind of evolved and pivoted over the years at Reve Academy to continually offer, relevant experiences for our students. And we are a partner with Connect's MSP, and they have recently been talking a lot about and sharing an ongoing body of research that shows that young professionals have evolving needs and then also desires to experience multitude of skill building career opportunities, and also a variety of different career pathways. And one way that many corporations are addressing this is that they are offering mini experiences or micro internships. So in thinking about employment data that shows that younger generations are more than double, they have more than double the roles and job changes that some of the older generations will experience. This is based on Minnesota Deed data. We're preparing students to we're preparing them for careers that don't exist yet. And I know we talk about this a lot, but someday they'll be excelling at things that we haven't even dreamed up yet. So at Reve Academy, we're very focused on teaching our students how to think critically, be agile, and embrace continuous learning and constantly develop their skills that are transferable to many different careers. Current industry trends also suggest that corporations in higher education, thankfully, is adapting to these needs. So as mentioned before, the micro internships and internship cohorts especially are becoming a lot more popular due to the need for young people to experience more frequent and also more defined skill building opportunities in a shorter amount of time. And also to provide them with a community of peers and mentors that support them along their path. So Reve Academy has taken up this model. We've embraced it, and we have been offering small intern cohorts for many years, and digiteer support. And our digiteers at Reve Academy are we call them our digital volunteers or digiteers. So we have a special name for them, but they're basically local business professionals who volunteer their time to work with our students and teach them new skills and mentor them. And we're also mentoring this with our new Reve in Residence development option, which is grant funded. So students receive micro grants to come up with an individual plan to work on business concepts that they come up with on their own. So in moving on, we feel also that it is really important to create digital leaders, or the leaders of the future digital workforce in the Twin Cities area and all over. So as we know, to succeed in the modern workplace, it takes a balance of both those digital skills and professional skills. And so our goal always has and continues to be to support students in becoming well-rounded in developing both those digital and professional skills. And this is a taste, I guess, of what students may experience and learn by doing an experience with Reve Academy. It depends on the type of project that they're working on, but these are all things that our students have learned in the past and continue to learn. Some digital skills examples. A lot of our students do learn how to do websites. They do user experience design, a lot of market research, customer testing. They work on some digital content creation, social media, and we have a very good grounding in human-centered design as well. that we teach them that through a series of workshops, and also our professional skills that we're very aware of in communicating to our students the need for those transferable professional skills into many different career paths. So design thinking, our curriculum has a huge design entrepreneurial thinking component, collaboration, creativity, empathy, communication, leadership, presentation skills. All of those go into what we teach at Reve Academy. And at Reve Academy, we also want our students not only to learn how to apply these different skills to different career paths and be innovators of the future, but we also have a big focus on teaching them entrepreneurship skills. So every intern that we host in an internship completes a course called Business by Design. And this course is also offered with our school partners. And our school partners, they offer this course in a variety of ways, some as a class, as an elective class, some as an enrichment activity, some as a part of another class, like an advisory or a career class. There's many different ways in which it can be offered. But the course objective is that students get really good grounding in human-centered design, and they learn to create their own business that serves a social need. They do so by designing, developing, and prototyping out a product or a service, and then they create an actionable business plan for their concept. And the curriculum, this course during our internships specifically, is it culminates in our annual event called Reve Revival. And Reve Revival is an awesome day. It's where local business professionals work with our student interns to help them refine and prototype, and then eventually pitch their business concept to an audience. And Business by Design is a really unique experience and a way of learning that activates student voice because it's all about what the students come up with as their business idea. So it is very individualized. They're very engaged and very passionate about it because they're the ones that are identifying and designing real solutions to needs that they see within their community. And along the way, during Business by Design, they learn a bunch of different skills, and they also end up creating a better future for everyone using their creativity and their innovative concepts. I have an example of a school partnership. This is a very short video. This is a current partnership that Reve Academy has with Heritage STEM Academy. It's a Minneapolis Public High School magnet school in South Minneapolis, and they are using Business by Design to launch a school store. So I will play this and show you.
Reve Academy and Heritage STEM Academy are in partnership to build young future entrepreneurs. Students in the Business by Design course are using design thinking and human-centered design to ideate, develop, and launch their school store business. Heritage STEM Academy's school store business will provide fashionable and affordable school logo gear and other items to the Heritage school community. Students are learning how to engage in market research, design for customer needs, create prototypes of their logo gear, write an actionable business plan, and pitch their concepts to showcase and educate others about their work. The Heritage Business by Design students are excited to create a top-tier school store and launch their legacy for future generations to enjoy and participate in for years to come.
Awesome. Love those kids. They're great. They're having a great time and they're doing great work. So moving on to, as promised, I mentioned that we would talk about our new pilot endeavor. I guess we've been doing this now for just a little over a year. It's a new endeavor that Reve Academy has taken on, and we refer to this as a Rever in Residence role. And what a Rever in Residence role is it's a follow-up activity to an internship that a student may complete with us, or a follow-up to the completing the Business by Design course that we just recently talked about. And it is a micro grant funded opportunity. Students receive a grant of $250 initially to come up with an individual work plan, pursue some self-determined goals related to their business concept that they've developed, And they also are paired up with mentors, digiteers, or Reve Academy staff to help them improve upon their business concept. So the Reve in Residence experience is unique in that it puts students at the center of their own learning and their own professional development. And this pathway, it really ignites what you call like the spark or the magic of empowering students to choose their own experiences. And this one is related to the entrepreneurship thinking mindset and development of their self-proclaimed business concept. And by engaging in this journey, we see our students recognize also how they have developed not only their more technical and digital skills, their professional skills, but also along the way, we see them build a lot of confidence, obviously proficiency in collaborating and using their creativity to design actionable business plans. And we also see a lot of belief capital created. It really does build up the confidence of students and help them believe that they can do great things. And they do show that they can do great things like adult entrepreneurs would be doing. They go through the same experience and they really benefit from it. It truly inspires students to be the innovators of the future. Students have great ideas. And oftentimes, those great ideas, they don't know where to go from there once they have a great idea. So this pathway is really designed to help them continue to move along the pathway or continue up the rungs on the ladder to, hopefully be able to develop their business concept out enough that they would be able to take it to a venture capital or a social venture firm and pitch it and get some real legitimate business funding and start their own business because they really do have some great ideas and a lot of really wonderful insights on how they can improve the needs that their community faces. In wrapping up and almost completing our presentation for today, we did want to talk a little bit about Reve Revival. And this is also a really unique experience that we offer students. And it's the most exciting day of the summer internship program, for sure. Reve Revival is a one-day community innovation accelerator. And Reve Academy interns at the end of their summer internships, they've been working on their business concept all summer, prototyping it, writing their business plan, doing all kinds of really cool things. And on this day, we have volunteers from several major corporations and also our digiteers in the local area that partner up with students. And they lead them through a service design workshop where they work on refining their business idea, prototyping it out and writing a pitch. And they really go through a process in which like a business innovation company, our sister company, Reve Consulting, which offers those services to businesses. This is what they do. They're professionals at it. And they help our students lead them through this workshop of what they normally do with major corporations and business leaders in the Twin Cities area. And it really helps further along the innovative ideas and the business planning and strategy. And our interns get to experience what that's like to be a business leader or a CEO of the day and utilize the expertise of our local Twin Cities professionals and our Reve Consulting professionals to experience something that really pushes their ideas forward. And they also invite their family and friends to attend the pitch presentation at the end of the day. And each team pitches their idea to the entire audience. There's prizes, there's Reve in Residence opportunities that they can win to continue their learning and development too. We also do these revival competitions. Reve Revival is the major one of the summer, but we do a couple of smaller competitions with our school partners throughout the school year too, typically around January and May. And the school can either host these events for students or Reve can host it as well. And qualifiers from those events are also eligible to receive Reve in Residence business funding and opportunities to further their concepts as well. And this is another short little video that will hopefully give you an idea and a taste of what the Revival Day is like and what students and business professionals experience.
Rev Revival is a one-day innovation accelerator that explores the ability of youth to bring their ideas to life. Rev Academy interns who are working to develop a social impact business idea are given the opportunity to work with local professionals on refining, prototyping, and pitching their concept.
As a participant, I loved meeting the young entrepreneurs and having the opportunity to connect and work with other professionals from all over the Twin Cities. The innovative prototypes that were created and seeing how working with local professionals helped build skills and confidence among the students was amazing.
As a high school student, I never thought that I would be able to design and develop my own business concept, but I did, and through Revival, I was able to present my idea to business leaders in the community and work with them to make it even better. Revival has helped me realize I am capable of developing creative solutions and making them a reality.
Revival's just a great day. It's a really great experience for everyone. And these are just to close out our presentation, a few of the past business ideas from past revivals. This one in particular, I think it's great to highlight the one called Job Drop. And this was an idea a few years back from a group of students that matched young people who were seeking jobs with employers that were searching for more diverse employees. And I mean, great thing, we have seen this materialize through Greater MSP and Connects MSP. That is primarily their mission. And not that this particular Job Drop idea is the idea that they used, but it's a similar concept in a need in the community. And our students recognize that and developed ideas around it. And it's awesome to see those types of things happening now that can further develop our youth and our communities for the better. So we want to thank you for your time and your patience today. And it was really nice to talk to you all and share some information. And we're happy to answer questions as well.
Thanks, Torrey. I wrote down the idea of belief capital. I love that. I have not heard that before. I want to make sure we get to the questions that were sent to me in the chat first. So there was just a question around if Rev is available for partnership with schools outside of Minneapolis. And so maybe if you could just talk a little bit more for the folks in our audience who want to connect with you, how they should do that, and maybe the reach of Rev right now.
Oh, absolutely. Yes, we're always open to partnering with new school organizations. So yes, all over. We haven't really expanded out of the state of Minnesota, but anywhere in Minnesota, we're always looking to partner with schools. So yes, please contact us, and we would love to set up a time to talk about what your ideas are and what your needs are, and we would love to partner.
Awesome. And we'll make sure we share Torrey's contact information too in the chat in just a minute. We have like one more minute. And so I am going to take my facilitator privilege and just ask you to expand a little bit on that idea of belief capital and how that has kind of informed how you approach your work. Because like I said, I have not heard that before, and I think it sounds really inspiring.
Yeah, it is a great term. One of our co-founders, Brad Von Bank, he uses this term a lot. And so that's at least where I've heard it and where I've been using it. And really what belief capital is it's offering something to students that they perhaps have not had the privilege of experiencing within their lifetimes. Many times our students, we primarily serve, Minneapolis public school students who are, they experience homelessness, they experience low income situations, and they often do not have the networks that they would know about or be able to experience, the process of actually thinking that they can start their own business and they can learn entrepreneurship skills. So just a little bit of putting them on that start to the pathway and increasing their confidence that they do have good ideas and that they can come up with those really innovative, creative ideas, and that it is possible for them to really go along this entrepreneurship pathway is what we mean by belief capital. Often just that little bit of confidence building and experiencing that they can do these things and it is possible will really make a world of difference in where they choose to go in their career pathways. It becomes a possibility to them that maybe they weren't aware of before.
Thanks, Torrey. We are at time, so if anyone else had questions for Torrey, you can go ahead and enter them into the chat. Thank you so much for being here today. Lots to think about and really appreciate you sharing with us.
Thank you very much.
We asked Matt today to moonlight and to facilitate the next couple of segments here because Matt is a fantastic facilitator and he's also a champion of career pathways with a real gift for making complex information more palatable and for finding a unique spark in anyone that he speaks with. So you'll all see that today. Matt has a background in the media and the military and has lived on 3 continents and worked on 4. And currently helps generous people make a meaningful difference in our community as a senior manager of major gifts at the Greater Twin Cities United Way. And recently, Matt was promoted in the Navy Reserves to, and I quote here, the coolest sounding rank of commander. So we're really thrilled, Matt, to have you here today.
Thanks, Liz. I'm happy to be here and just really excited to speak now with Megan Ryan and Sandra Tougnon. Megan and Sandra exemplify a critical component of high quality work experiences, so that deep and meaningful connections. Personal connections are often what makes the difference in a career and can open the door to incredible opportunities, both for employers and young people. Megan Ryan is the VP of Marketing and Communications for the St. Paul Chamber of Commerce. Last year, Megan rebranded the organization to truly capture the essence of what they do at the Chamber, adding the tagline, making connections that count. Megan has a longer bio, which I won't read, but she expects to someday add to her bio, once supervised Sandra Tougnon, now CEO of blank company. Welcome, Megan. And Sandra is also with us. Sandra Tougnon is a senior at St. Paul Central High School. She's focusing on business pathway. She's an intern at the St. Paul Area Chamber, plays varsity volleyball, is co-head of the Black Student Union, National Honor Society, co-head of the French Club. Sandra will also be interning at our Career Academies team this spring. So congrats and welcome, Sandra. I was wondering if you could share a little bit more about the St. Paul Area Chamber and how you support youth in our region.
Sure, thank you, and thanks for having us today. As you said, I'm the VP of Marketing and Communications at the St. Paul Area Chamber. With that rebrand, wanted to make sure that we had priorities that were easily understood and remembered. And so we cultivate relationships, we grow leaders, we build capacity, and we drive progress. And so I think this has just been a great setup, listening to the previous speaker talk about belief capital. If it's okay, I'm going to steal that because it is exactly what we do. And it's exactly, I think Sandra may be able to speak to this as well, but in building capacity and growing leaders in an organization that we believe is truly essential to be authentic in who you are, we're dramatically changing our chamber. We've talked about, we have an internal line that I guess isn't so internal because I'm about to say it, but we're not your granddaddy's chamber. We've changed the way we do things. We actually just had our 154th annual meeting last week. It was with 500 people. I haven't been around that many people in a long time. And my boss, B. Kyle, who is kind of leading this charge, talked in her speech, and it's not just her speech, it's how she walks in this world, about making space at the table and likening our chamber and what we're doing in our community to a family Thanksgiving meal that, you make space at the table, you scooch. And so what we've done in our business and with our interns is we've scooched to make place and space. We've brought Sandra along every step of the way. And it's not just about the amazing work that she's done, but it's about letting her see that we see her, we believe in her, we know she's going to do great things. And it's remarkable what she's done even in the time that we've gotten to know each other. So again, we think it's important for our business, our region. We're walking the talk, and I was privileged enough to be set up with Sandra, which will be a lifelong relationship.
Thank you again for welcoming me and allowing me to be in this space with you. But just to add on to kind of what Megan said, as the chamber works with community and businesses, like I got to see firsthand how they really trust, understand, and as well invest in the youth and understand that the youth is the future and they will become the current business owners and they will become the future leaders, but just they kind of inspired me to do better and giving me big tasks and allowing me to explore my creativity. So awesome.
Sandra, there's a lot that you can do in high school, and some of which you're doing, right? Sports and jobs, high-paying jobs even. And can you tell us what drew you to this opportunity with the chamber?
Yeah, I'm definitely way more, I would say, future-oriented than my peers or just people around me. But what really drew me to this opportunity was getting the opportunity to explore myself better and what I liked and who I want to surround myself with. I'm just kind of constantly thinking about my future and what I wanted to entail. And so this opportunity really allowed me to see what I liked and what I didn't like. Do I want to work in an office? Do I want to be in an environment where I'm constantly communicating with others? Do I want to be in a position in leadership? Like that really stood out to me. And I mean, especially like I get paid to learn and get an experience out of it, which was amazing. But I definitely do think that every student, all the youth should invest in this opportunity and take advantage of it. You can only gain from this opportunity. So it was amazing for that.
You mentioned your future and how you're future oriented. I wonder if you could share, Sandra, you've chosen the business pathway. Can you talk about how you reached a point of knowing the direction you'd like to go in the future?
Yeah, for sure. It's just continuing on the business pathway with the J Launch U opportunity. I got I believe my junior year. So J Launch U was just opportunity to grow youth entrepreneurs. And so I was able to create my own business with a bunch of my peers from the SVPS program or just all over. And so that really ignited like my need to problem solve and lead. And then, so I was marketing lead for our company. And then my teacher introduced me to this opportunity with Megan. And so I was like just climbing on that marketing opportunity just because marketing is a big aspect of business. Just working with people, the organizations within the chamber, working with the government, the city of St. Paul, and just directing as well as communications. I really do want to connect other people and just talk to other people as well as lead within business. So that is really what I think my passion is. And I think the chamber was such a big help to lead me towards that, just with all the projects I did with the Black Chamber, creating digital marketing, as well as just documents and learning how businesses even operate. And I do definitely think the chamber was I just heard my first acceptance letter from one of my selective schools. So I did get accepted to Vanderbilt, almost kind of a full ride. And I do think the chamber was a big part in that, as it was my supplemental essay. So definitely props to Chamber and an experience I will never forget.
Congratulations, that's super exciting.
And I just want to chime in there that, so Sandra joined us at our annual meeting the other night and was describing that she got into Vanderbilt with pretty much a full ride, but she's still waiting for other offers. So our CEO, B. Kyle, commented that that's quite an accomplishment when Vanderbilt is your safe school.
Yeah, are you willing to share what other offers you're waiting for? You don't have to.
Oh, no, yeah, it's totally fine. My first school was Wash U, just because they're like up there, #1 business school almost. Like their program's amazing. I visited it. It's University of Missouri, University of Washington in St. Louis, and then University of Michigan. Kind of just going off of the business, I want to become the best businesswoman I can. So University of Michigan. And if it turns out that I'm not that interested in business, I'm always open to communications, because I do believe communications is just such a valuable aspect in anything. And so I applied to Stanford, so still hearing back from just a bunch of places. So
well, whatever you choose, wherever you go, they're lucky to have you, and I'm sure they'll be very excited to watch you thrive there. Very cool, very exciting. Hey, Megan, in the last, we still have a couple of minutes, so I was wondering if you shared a little bit about this already, but can you talk just more about how hosting an intern, and Sandra in particular, influences the Chamber, and how the Chamber's approaching the talent pipeline now and in the future?
Sure. Hosting an intern in a pandemic when we're all working remotely forced us to do things in a little bit different way. And so I learned from this, and in our future intern hosting, we're much more thoughtful about making sure that we write down, and when you're in person, it's easy to pop into somebody's office or spend time and describe things, but we're needing to be much more thoughtful about making really clear instructions. So that's one thing that Sandra helped me learn, that we need to continue to provide meaningful internship opportunities. But one of the great things about Sandra is that she didn't actually need all of that. And so I had a task, and initially it was a little bit of a test, Sandra. I don't know if you knew this, but if I needed this done, I gave you this much information to see if you could get to the next level. And she did. She knocked it out of the park. What she helped us really realize is that, I talked about, we're not your granddaddy's chamber. We're changing how we are in this community, and in bringing business and community closer together. Young people don't necessarily know what a chamber is, and Sandra politely did some research for me and showed some of the things that we were using as pitch sheets to young people, and let us know that they didn't really resonate. And so what she has done and will continue to help us do is make sure that we talk about the Chamber in a way that young people who might just be starting out in the world, in the business world, are interested in getting involved with. We have Chamber members, I'll pick on attorneys. They talk to attorneys all day long. And so what they like about the Chamber is they get to talk to different people throughout the community. And so, Sandra, it has been she signs her cards and things to me, my favorite intern. And it's true, she's taught us a lot. And again, I think one of my favorite parts about this is just the personal relationship that we've developed.
How has this changed the Chamber? What are you guys planning for the next batch of interns?
Thanks. Okay. We are much more clear on expectations, on very project related work. still helping interns work remotely. We're also working with the school district on Career Connect Day, and we are going to be raising funds to make sure that we can take the experience, take what we learned from Sandra and from our other interns, and use that as a way to engage more businesses so that we can help more young people have that same opportunity.
Thank you, Megan, and thank you, Sandra. Sandra, if you could stick around for a bit, we're going to bring in a few more young people into the conversation. We have young people representing St. Paul, of course, and also White Bear Lake, Burnsville, and Windom, each representing specific pathway programs: business, medical, communications, and education. They'll share more about their experiences in career pathways and their related work experiences they've had. And I've got to say, when we reached out to partners and asked which students we or graduates we should talk to, they came back loud and clear: you have to talk to these 4 individuals. So let's talk to them. Tyrese, are you there? Tyrese, you were instrumental in bringing the student voice for the Pathways model to Burnsville in 2016. You were the lead student for all the partnership activities. You just graduated from the U of M, and you're working in your chosen pathway, communications. Well done, sir. Can you talk to us about your experience during the planning and implementation of career pathways in Burnsville? What did you do, and how did it feel to be part of the design process?
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Matt, for that question. And thank you to Greater Twin Cities United Way for hosting me today. I'm super honored to be a panelist. And yes, I would be very happy to talk about that. When I was in high school, specifically around my junior year, our program in our district had just begun to pass a referendum focusing on leveling up, I'll say, not only student programming within the schools, but also the physical buildings that a lot of our schools needed some help with, is what I'll say. And I noticed that there were probably some pieces that were missing in people's minds. They didn't really understand as much why all of these changes were happening, and change can be scary for a lot of people, as we all know, especially during the time that we're experiencing now. And so this caught my attention, and I wanted to make sure that I was communicating the benefit of this referendum and all the positive things that would come out of it. And so I partnered with Burnsville Strong, a volunteer organization at my high school, and got to work in communicating out in the best way that I possibly could, not only what could happen with this referendum, but all the people who would be impacted by it in a positive way. And that caught the attention of administrators in my district and in my school building. And they welcomed me with open arms into the conversation and asked for not only mine, but all of the students I was working with, all of our feedback on the changes that they were thinking of, from programming to building upgrades and modifications. And to your question, that I can't describe that feeling to have an access to that in high school. I felt valued and I felt seen in a way that I really wasn't expecting as a person of color. I just think that that is really, really incredible that they went out of their way when they really didn't have to say, you're important, your voice is important. And we recognize that what we're doing is going to, yes, impact you while you're in high school, but also impact students just like you for generations to come. So let's ask you right now, what would you like and what would be most helpful to you? And that was really, really incredible. I felt very valued.
Felicia, you are a 2019 White Bear Lake High School graduate. You were very involved in the health and wellness career pathway and will be completing your nursing degree this May. Congratulations. Can you tell us, how did your network open the door to specific opportunities to explore, learn, and engage in work experiences or career pathways? Or said another way, what should schools do more of, or maybe do a little bit less of?
Yeah, thank you for the question. I'm excited to be here and tell you guys about all the opportunities I had in high school. So as you mentioned, I went to White Bear, and when White Bear is kind of different than most high schools, it's split into two different buildings, one with freshmen and sophomores, and then juniors and seniors. So when I went to the South Campus building where the 11th and 12th graders are, I met Jenny Moore. And she is just like a world of opportunities. She has so many opportunities for any student. So I remember she came into one of my classes and spoke about like what she does and how she works for career pathways. And then I went to her office because like I knew I wanted to be a nurse. I knew I belonged in healthcare. So I went to her office and just told her like what I want to do. And she set up a time for us to meet. She wrote down like a map. This is what you need to do. This is what I want you to do. This is who I'm going to connect you with. These are the things that I have for you. And that's kind of where my network started. She set up a lot of things for me, but three things that really like stood out and had the most effect on me were the ICU job shadow that she set up for me at the University of Minnesota Hospital. And I think I was in 11th grade when I did that. And then she also set me up with Scrubs Camp. It was like a 3-day thing. You go there and you have the opportunity to like listen to guest speakers. You went to Children's Hospital, Regents Hospital. You talked to like all different types of people there. We did different activities like learning how to suture wounds. We went on like a helicopter. We did all these little activities that introduced you to different types of pathways. And then she also set up the CNA class for me, which was probably the biggest opportunity that she had for me. And it's kind of set me up for where I am today. Typically the CNA class is over $1,000 if you go to a college or wherever to take that class. And the test out after that is typically around $300. And it was all free to me through White Bear Lake, through career pathways. So that was like the biggest opportunity through my networks, just based off the fact that a lot of nursing schools require you to be a CNA before you enter their program. So I'm automatically a year ahead of all of my alumni that I'm with because I already finished that. So now I'm graduating now it's kind of September because I'm the type of person that needs a little bit of credits at a time. But now I'm graduating still a year before my expected graduation date. And I've met through the CNA class, my teacher was Janae Stewart, and she actually became somebody that I still reach out to. She helps me with a lot of my homework. She's a nurse. She has her master's in nursing. I actually worked for her at the Pillars of White Bear Lake. She got me a job there because she was the director of nursing. So Jenny Moore definitely put me in this direction of so many open doors, so many opportunities. So I couldn't thank her enough for that. And I think that to answer the question of what schools should do less of, I think that even if it's not directly career pathways, I think that schools need to have a way for kids and students to pick less of like reading, science, math, you need to do this. This is what is required to graduate, and more of like, who do you want to be? What do you want to do? And focus your time on that, because yes, I'm a science major, I'm a nursing major, but science was not my thing at the time. And I would have rather done like the CNA class, kinesiology, things like that were more medical based. Then I did get to spend some time doing that, but I think schools need to let students pick their path. And that's what Career Pathways provided for me, was the opportunity to do that. So yeah, thank you for having me here.
Thank you for sharing that story. One follow-up, Felicia, if I can. It sounds like a lot of your ultimate success stemmed from walking into Jenny's office that first time.
Yeah.
And I wonder if you could share, what was it that made it easy for you to walk into her office that first time? What was it that compelled you to make that first step?
Well, nursing school is hard. It's the hardest thing. I'm a mother, and nursing school is the hardest thing I've ever done. So I knew that I needed her help, and I knew the way she just presented like career pathways, like she presented all types of different opportunities she's presented in the past. She was super like open-minded to hearing what you have to say. She was super open about, even there was days where like in high school I was having a bad day and I would just go to her office. Like she was one of my biggest supporters in high school, and she came off that way. So she was super like inviting, she was super like welcoming, and that's what it was. She presented how she's made other students successful. So I knew that that's where I needed to be.
Thank you, Felicia. And Jenny, if you're
Yes,
out
thank
there.
Good job.
Heck yeah. KJ, let's move over to you. You're out in Windom. And for those of you on the call that don't know, Windom is about 2.5 hours southwest of the Twin Cities. KJ confirmed that they are also getting snow right now. KJ, you're a student in the education field. So you've taken child development and now, concurrently intro to ed course. And so you've chosen are now on track for a career in early childhood education. So that's a very exciting beginning. Can you talk about, let's see, hold on. Can you think about if you went back to your 14-year-old self and you wanted to give that person a bit of advice as you headed into high school, what would you say?
Well, going into high school, I would probably tell myself to really sit up and pay attention and figure out what you want to do in your life. Because when I first started out in high school, we had a little intro to pathway class. And at that point, I had no idea what I wanted to go into. And as going through high school, well, both of my parents are teachers in our district here. So I have a lot of that, and I always wanted to steer away from that. I don't specifically have a good reason why. I just simply didn't want to be a teacher, but it just kept, as like the years progressed, just kept getting more, say, interesting, and it seemed more natural to me. And if I would have just listened a little bit closer when I was younger, I wouldn't have been so stubborn about it. Because it took me until just about up until the end of last year that I decided what I really wanted to go into. So probably just really paying attention and just kind of figuring out myself and what I really want to do with my life.
KJ, if you could guess, what might have gotten through to stubborn 9th grade KJ who did not want to be a teacher? What might have gotten you on that path even earlier?
One of my summer jobs was coaching youth t-ball, and throughout my younger years, I was babysitter for multiple kids, and I've always been, my mom's a kindergarten teacher here, and so I've always been around youth kids, and I really enjoy it. I feel the most comfortable, most confident. And then with the t-ball thing, I would just keep hearing from different parents of how well I was coaching and teaching kids. And it was kind of the repetitive of just hearing of how well I was doing and how natural it would be for me to become a teacher. And I think that's what really got to me the most, just hearing of how well I was doing and then how good it made me feel. Every time like a little kid would hit the ball and see the little brightness in his eyes get brighter, and it just see him so happy of how well he did of something that I taught him. It just really it was a really good feeling, and I would love to do that in the education field as well. So that's what really kind of poked me out.
I love it. Thank you, KJ. Sandra, hello again. Can you tell us a little bit about what you're most proud of that you've accomplished so far and what you're most excited about for the future?
What I am most proud about recently, my Black Student Union and as you mentioned, I am co-president of Black Student Union, and our Black Student Union helped protest Amir Locke, his death. And so we got together over 3,000 students and we marched, and we were able to put that together in a matter of days. And I'm just really proud of my members, and we created a press conference. And so speaking at that was a huge thing for me, just because I don't really like speaking a lot, but just telling my story and being able for others to connect with me in that moment and having a community was just amazing. And just thinking about how I founded it 2 years ago with nobody, and like urging people to come, and it's turned into this thing where we can raise awareness to the injustices of the Black community. So very proud of that. And the second question was what I'm looking forward to. Sorry.
Yeah, what's you're most excited about in the future?
I'm really excited about what I've kind of learned throughout all of my experiences is that to kind of embrace failures and just failing. And so I'm, as weird as it sounds, I'm really excited to fail because I know it will lead me to successes. And so I'm just really excited to see how I take that on and how it looks and ends up in the future.
That's brilliant. Sandra, as you were talking about organizing the protest, it occurred to me, Tyrese, do y'all do media training? Can you help Sandra and team out if they need it? Not that I think you need it, Sandra.
No, you're totally good, man.
Sandra, I think you're doing fantastic from what I've seen so far, but I would not mind connecting with you after this. Absolutely, if you needed some additional support.
Concur with you, Tyrese. You're doing great, Sandra. We're happy to have you here. Thanks for sharing. I'm going to ask all of you a question, actually. At Greater Twin Cities United Way, we support school districts that are developing career pathways that center on building wealth for youth and communities. And we define wealth in many different ways, from owning a cabin to taking care of my family to making deep connections. And I'm going to ask all of you, how would you say you define wealth for yourself? And how has that influenced your career path choices? Tyrese, let's start with you again.
Of course, thank you. This is a really good question. One that isn't answered lightly, nor probably the same by any of us. So I'll define it for myself as access to opportunities. And yes, that's opportunities with an S, which is repetitive and definitely more than one instance. But that also means it can show up in different ways. Matt, you had kind of teed this off. It can be access to financial stability as an opportunity, an education opportunity, social connection, or a strong network as opportunities as well. I just truly believe that the wealthiest people are people that have been able to get where they are and stay where they are because they had access to opportunities along the way. And this is that opening of doors that I'm really, really grateful for to have experienced at a young age, not only to be able to see through the Pathways program what my opportunities could be in the future, but also to have been given some leading steps and maybe a little bit of hand-holding as well in the beginning to get me ramped up for my path that I'm on right now. So I really, really am passionate about now opening those doors for others. I'm excited to be here today to talk about that. And outside of my role in media and advertising, I also still work at the high school as a drumline instructor too. And so in that way, I hope to inspire others to follow their pursuits of music as a passion and to teach them just as much as I've been taught.
Thanks, Tyrese. Felicia, would you be willing to take a stab at answering this question for us?
Yeah, I think this is, I've been thinking about this question since we talked last week. And I think that like for right now where I'm at in life, like right this second, I think that my definition of wealth is based on like my stability, my emotional stability. Yes, financial stability is a piece of that, but I don't think wealth is all about money. I mean, there was a point in time in my life where I don't think I was wealthy at all, but it's about the opportunities, like Tyrese said, that come your way. You become more wealthy with the more opportunities you have. And part of that is getting that emotional stability, the mental stability, the physical stability, and having that sense of like peace and actual happiness. Because you can have all the money in the world, and that does not mean that you are for sure going to be 100% happy and that you are going to have the best life. So I think that overall wealth is defined as how you feel and not what you have. That's what I have.
I love that, Felicia. Thank you. KJ?
Mine would be probably back to the opportunity thing. That was very well said, by the way. Probably also knowledge and growth. Kind of what Sandra said, she, to fail. She's excited to fail, and which is a huge part in your growth throughout your entire life. Just having, let me put this the right way, having the right knowledge, going into what you want to do, and sorry, your different ways of growing through with the knowledge that you have and the knowledge that you will gain. It's just back to the whole growth thing, just the more you grow, the better and the wealthier that you'll get.
I love it. Well said, KJ. Sandra, what do you think?
Yeah, I definitely agree with everybody's perspective and thoughts. But if you would have asked me like a few years ago what wealthy meant, I would have answered, of course, with something like a financial aspect, just growing up in a low income family and like understanding that everybody has access to different resources that I'm not able to have. That really affected my perspective of what wealth is. So just like trying to get as much money as you can, or just having the ability to do what you want and not having a financial barrier. But as I've grown with all my opportunities and meeting different people, I understand now that it's not just about wealth, but also like KJ said, knowledge and just what you've learned and just how you present yourself. Like, are you sure of who you are and what knowledge that you have acquired and what you have to bring to the world, like, and your position in the world? It's way more than just financial stability.
Thank you for sharing, and thank you all for just talking. I think everyone on the call would resonate with what you said about how it's greater than financial stability. That's obviously a component, but I think all of us are in the jobs we are because we have a definition of wealth that is similar to what you all came up with. So thank you for sharing that. I think we have, so this has been fascinating, and thank you all for sharing your stories. There's still plenty of time, and I'd love to hear if our audience has questions for these panelists. Liz, do we have any questions in the chat yet from the audience?
As adults working in education, it's hard to know how to motivate high school students. Do you have any recommendations on how to connect with youth on these pathway initiatives? So I think that question is really around, like, how do we get young people involved in these opportunities that you all can speak to, have supported your growth? How can we reach more young people to get connected?
When it was like the first couple weeks of school that Jenny Moore had came into the classrooms, it's like you can make it interesting with like guest speakers and making it like offering different internships, classes that are going to like provide some sort, like, yes, you're going to learn from them, but also what is it going to do? Is it going to provide you a job? Is it going to get you an internship? Is it going to knock out some credits? Is it going to take time away from your graduation date? Like, you can tell people about different opportunities, but are you going to actually help them go into those opportunities? So like, An example is like Scrubs Camp. She presented this opportunity to me, but it was also $500 and there was no way my mom was going to afford that. So she also presented to me, here's a scholarship, here's how you apply for it. Do you need help? We'll sit down and fill it out together. And I got the scholarship and I got to go to Scrubs Camp. So it's just the way you present the opportunities. Are they interesting? Are they like, can they do them? Can they afford them? Can they get there? Is the transportation available? So it's just like, how is it benefiting them and where is it going to get them? How is it going to be beneficial in the future?
Yeah, to add on to what you just said, which is amazing. Just the presentation itself. I remember I was talking to my friends and was like, oh my God, like these internships I'm going to be a part of, just like Earners You Learn, like all these different programs. I'm like, you guys should totally do it as well, just because like building your resume, all these advantages. But I remember one of my friends was like, that's just more work. Like, even though she saw the money aspect, and I was just like, oh, like it didn't seem more work to me. Like I was just getting more out of it and increasing my knowledge. But I think everybody really just needs to feed off of everyone's interest in what they like to do and how understand instead of trying to cater to all like just a group, just youth in general, maybe focus on a couple students or just one student and be like, I know this is what you like, this is.
Tyrese, you helped build that component into, overcoming barriers, specifically talking to young people who would likely have some of those similar objections or some of those similar challenges participating in the program. Can you talk a little bit about how you address that in your design process?
Absolutely. And I think it definitely touches on the question that we led into this conversation with too, from the audience. I think it's really important, especially as someone who works with students. Now, again, I'm in a full circle moment here as a role, but it's so important for us to really listen to them. A lot of the times we're working with programs or systems that maybe we've inherited or continued to use for years on end. And one of our earlier speakers said something that was really resonated quite well with me, and said, like, we're preparing this current generation of students and people for a world that we don't even have in existence now, and not even in our dreams yet. And so to listen to them and to hear what are your aspirations as they sit right now, and to really care about that, I think that's a really special thing as program coordinators. And I was really quite pleased, and I have to give a shout out to my career counselor, Marcia Sexton from my high school, who I think I saw in the audience today as well. I can't tell you how many countless hours that her and I chatted about my aspirations in life, and how many steps she provided to me and different ways I could go about succeeding down them. So it really is all of you in this call who can make someone's life exactly what they've dreamed of, from people that are particularly from low income backgrounds, low access to food or housing, or just life security there. It's really an incredible thing. So listen to them, and if you show your excitement for them, it's really easy for them to latch on to that.
Thanks much. Liz, is there anything else that we've got from the audience?
Yeah, I think this is a question that would be for all of you. And I think some of you have answered this, but maybe just reflecting a little more on this one. But you've each had really unique educational experiences, unique from each other, from what we've heard, but then also unique from a lot of other high schoolers in Minnesota. Which of those educational experiences or work experiences do you think is going to help you the most in your future? And then maybe tell us a little bit about why. So that, I think that's for everyone. So if anyone's ready to answer right off the bat, go ahead and jump in.
Felicia, you're off mute. Go for it.
Yeah. I think one of the biggest opportunities that led to my to where I am now. I'm not going to say my success quite yet, but kind of like I had mentioned, the opportunity to take CNA class in the high school. I wasn't missing classes. I didn't have to leave the campus. It was right there, like a normal scheduled class in my high school with other students that I was comfortable with and that I knew. And I also had the opportunity to be the TA for my CNA teacher. And so for a big chunk of my day, I was with her, and she had her master's in nursing. She has her master's in nursing. So her and I became very close, and she would tell me about, like, this is what I would do. This is what I wouldn't do. This is, these are good schools. And like, she would help me figure out what I want to do, where I want to go. She would tell me different jobs that she could help me get into. So I think that that was the biggest like network or opportunity that I had, was not only being in her class, but having her as some.
Thanks, Felicia. KJ, you want to go next?
Yeah, so obviously coaching youth t-ball in the summers, that was a really big opportunity to really get involved in the community. And it kind of is a different way of teaching. You're teaching a younger kid how to play sports. I am currently a TA for my mom in her kindergarten class, and she really is throwing me in with the kids. I am doing little individual learning sessions with kids, with rhyming and spelling words and such like that, and also taking, as I have a few other classes that our high school offers, child development 1 and 2. Child development 2, I actually got to go in as an observer / a student teacher in a preschool setting. So that was really fun. That was really enjoyable. And then in one of my college classes is Intro to Education, and another I'm also currently being like a student observer for a 2nd grade class. So I'm really getting that elementary experience, a lot of it already. And it's just getting me more and more excited and more involved in what I really want to go into.
Sandra?
Through that, I definitely learned how to get along with different types of people and still kind of find a balance, and just being able to still connect with those people, even though they didn't look like me or have the same beliefs. But in addition to that, I would also say my networking events with the chamber was just like a huge game changer. Every time I would go to another person with just like a hey there and a tap, and I would have like a new connection, a new person to talk to, or just like learning about the business environment, just anything. And before that, I thought that just like the professional world and getting into different places was contingent on intelligence and like being the smartest person in the room, being the hardest worker. And it's not exactly that. It would be perfecting communication with others and learning how to kind of be likable, and just like just that networking events really showed me that you just need the right people to get you in the right places, and you don't have to necessarily be the smartest, just kind of know how to work with others. So I'm definitely taking that into all of my experiences.
Tyrese?
Yes, thank you, Matt. I'm thankful for a lot in my life and a lot along my pathway that has led me to where I'm at right now. Harkening back to my moment that I shared earlier, a lot of that is the opportunities that I was given or that I ran into along the way that I'm so thankful for. That starts from the extracurriculars that I did outside of school. For me, that was a lot of music and a lot of theater, and I did volunteering as well. That looks like the AP classes I was able to take inside of school that prepared me to go to college before I even applied, which was really an incredible opportunity. And that looked like the opportunities I was given with the district or the school, opportunities like this, where I'm able to partner with people like you all to expand my network and to learn more about what's happening in the world that broadens my perspective and gives me a more grounded view. And I love that. And I'm so thankful for Dr. Funston, who allowed this opportunity to be given to me today. So I'm so thankful for a lot. And I hope that there are other people just like all of us who are being given the same opportunity and given the same chance to shine, because I know that there are those out there who deserve it.
Thank you so much, Tyrese, Sandra, KJ, Felicia. Thank you for your stories, for your voice. It's so powerful. And what you've said today will impact how many students after you get exposure to and experiences in wealth building careers. Thank you again. Liz, back to you.
I second that. Thanks, Matt. And thank you all so much for being here today. This was, I'm always scribbling down my notes, but I have so many quotable quotes from you all that are going to guide how I do my work, I know. And certainly if you check out the chat, there's a ton of glowing kudos for each and every one of you there. So thank you all so much for being here today. If you all ever want to connect with anyone in this network, you just let us know, because we want to connect with you. So best of luck to everyone in the future. And thank you so much for being here this afternoon. Well, that just about wraps it up today for us. Thank you everyone in the audience for being here today at our February Community of Practice. You can go ahead and mark your calendars for April 26th, which will be our next Career Academies Community of Practice, 2 to 3:30 p.m. in the afternoon. As always, if you ever want to connect with myself or our Career Academies team, you can reach out to us directly. Thank you everyone for making the time this afternoon. We hope that you have a safe commute home if you are driving anywhere, and appreciate you making the time this afternoon. Thanks everyone.